Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Thule Epos platform style bike rack and see how it fits on the back of our 2022 Hyundai Palisade. Now this is going to be a platform style bike rack capable of carrying up to 2 bikes. And what I mean by platform is that the bike sits on the bike rack, and generally this is going to be a more accommodating style of bike rack. And the Epos is definitely accommodating. It works with a wide range of bikes. It's going to be good for carbon frame and alternative frame. You have options to attach to the frame or the rear tire. So for those carbon frame bikes, that's your point you could go to. Or for the frame, if you maybe have fenders. And it's going to boast a pretty good weight capacity. 140 pounds total between the 2 bikes. And one bike can weigh up to 75 pounds. So if your inner bike is 75, that second one should not exceed 65. Or go for 70 pounds each. Whatever it ends up being, as long as it's not over 140. And with this, you're going to have 2 secondary points of attachment down on each wheel, pulling the bike down and in at an angle, and that's going to give you a really solid hold. That strap configuration is something that I always like to see on a bike rack because I always feel like it means the bike is going to be a lot more stable in the rack. And that is really good here because clearance with our Palisade is overall not bad. But you'll notice that our handlebars are pretty close to the back window here. And I'm going to shake this pretty aggressively. I mean, you would not see this kind of movement going down the road, just hitting normal bumps and especially highway driving. But even so, I'm not making contact with that back window, even with my wider handlebars here. So that's good. I think that's going to be a perfectly fine fit as far as clearance goes. Now, like many other platform racks, this does have the ability to tilt away from the vehicle with bikes loaded. There's a foot pedal out front, and with the way it pivots, kind of angling towards the front there, it doesn't put a lot of that weight on you. It keeps the weight centered all the way through, so even if you have it fully loaded, it's not going to feel like 140 pounds, which is good. And it gives you full access to the back of your vehicle, allowing you to sit down and change your shoes before or after your ride, put on your helmet, have a snack, or just get to something in the back if you need it. And the fact that it gives you so much room to do that, I think is just an added bonus. When you're done though, just grab it by the arm and pull it back up. It'll lock into place, and we can unload the bike. To do that's pretty straightforward. We'll start at those wheels, pressing the gray button, and pulling that ratcheting strap out. And what I do like about this is that it's a true ratcheting strap. That allows you to get a little bit of extra tension on it whenever you're setting this up, and it's going to result in a much more secure fit. You'll see the exact same thing on the strap going around, in our case, our frame today. And that button on the main attachment point with the mast here is lockable. So you've got that security for your bike built right in. Now I'll set this to the side and we can take a look at some of the storage features for this rack, which I think is just another small touch that goes a long way. You've got strap keepers at the bottom for your wheel straps. So they're going to stay out of the way and very easy to access whenever we're ready to load up again. And the mast will push down. You've got another strap keeper, and it'll lay to the side nice and flat. So if we do leave this in the hitch, we can still have hatch access if we need it, but this is not really the type of bike rack I'd expect to leave in the hitch. I'll show you why in just a second. First, I want to get some measurements. The first one I'm going to take is from the bumper to the furthest point out on the carrier, which is 28 inches. That's really not going to add a whole lot of length to your Palisade, but it's enough that I'd keep it in mind as you're driving around and pulling into parking spots. The closest point here is about 2 inches from the bumper, and while that might not be a ton of clearance, it's more than enough. Again, this is a very solid rack, so I'm not concerned about any contact there. And then our ground clearance to the lowest point, which is that foot pedal, is 16 inches. So more than enough clearance that I'd be comfortable going up steep driveways and hills without the fear of bottoming out. Now, What I mean by this is probably a rack you're going to take out of the hitch when it's not in use is the fact that it folds up kind of suitcase style here, and that makes it a lot more compact for garage storage. Now you could drive around like this. I wouldn't, because now we're going to be blocking our license plate and our backup camera and things like that. This is really meant for that garage storage, so you can lift this out of the hitch and move it around a lot more easily. But let's check that out. We'll go down to the hitch and pop this out. Now it's fitting with our 2" by 2" receiver tube, but it could work with an 1¼ as well. And it uses this Stinger style hitch pin. And at the back, we've got this integrated anti-rattle device, which is in the form of this handle that we can loosen up. And after we get it to a certain level of looseness, just kind of fold this up. And again, just loosen it even more until we can pull it out of the hitch. This handle is a little bit awkward, but it gets the job done in a tool-free way. When it's loose, I can pull that Stinger out and just lift the whole thing away from the hitch. Now, it's not super heavy, but to make it even easier to transport, you can fold up the shank. There's a small button at the bottom there, and you've got a set of wheels to wheel this around. So, the Epos is a pretty solid option for an accessible bike rack. Tool-free, easy to use and easy to operate, and works with a wide range of bikes. And I do think it's a pretty solid fit on the 2022 Hyundai Palisade. Thanks for watching.